Hey Jordan,
Hello.
how are you?
Doing good.
Good.
I guess I can start it off. Can you just tell us a little bit about your creative process behind writing silence?
Hmm. So my creative process behind writing this, I I actually came up with this because I'm deaf. I use a cochlear implant. This is because I wanted to kind of create something where I'd be able to okay, let me rewind because Silence went through a lot of iterations to its present form 4 months ago. Our teachers introduced this project to us. They told us about like how we'd be able to work on basically come up with any project we wanted to and basically work on it and submit it to this big virtual technology fair. And I was struggling to come up with something because I wanted to come up with something that was like a uniquely representative of myself and what I'd be able to bring to future employers. Me showing the world something about myself. Hang on, I'm getting a call. Okay, so when I was creating this project and I was wanting to come up with something that would be showing kind of the people who are seeing this project something about me. The first idea that I came up with is to create some kind of deafness simulator because one of the big things that the people at the SCA Graph Fair are looking for are projects that tackle accessibility in some way. And I thought that that would be something that, with my unique circumstances, I could really do something interesting there. And so I started trying to develop some kind of deafness simulator, but very quickly I realized that, within virtual reality, the hardware, the technology available isn't there yet to create us the sensory deprivation that'd be required for that kind of project to work. And so I decided to switch gears from and so. I kind of had this figment of an idea for a story in my head about some kind of like a horror experience where the monsters interact with sound in some way, and so that potentially a deaf character in this situation would be able to use their deafness to as an advantage. And so I'm like, okay, I could create a game around this. And I was trying to, so I ended up switching from trying to create a simulator to trying to create a game. And the game I was trying to create was something like Outlast. Where you're like exploring that hospital and the only source of light is your camera and everything. Where and I was trying to create like game mechanics around being able to turn your implant off and on, and there'd be like stuff around like how much battery life you have left, and then if you don't do things in the right order, then the monster will get you and everything. So that's what I was trying to come up with, and I needed like some kind of like a conflict to drive this story forward. And so I had it so that like the monster had captured some friend, and you're trying to rescue your friend. And so that was the game that I was trying to create. But I realized that as I was working on this project, I realized I was struggling a lot with creating like the game because I'm not a very like I'm a programming minded person. I have some background in programming, but I needed a lot of I needed to learn a lot more about it in order to make something like this work. And so I'm but like the story that I'd come up with for this game was something that got me really excited. And so I was like, maybe what if I switched from doing it as a game to doing it as a short film? Because I've already created all the assets that I need. I've already created the characters. I've already created the animations. I've already created the world. I just need the mechanics to work. I can't I'm not at a point where I could like program artificial intelligence into any of those characters. But to that on the level that would be required for this gaming experience to work. I know how to animate these characters, so if I just set the animations to trigger in a sequence and be able to do voiceover. I'm like, yeah, that sounded like a really good idea for me. So that's how I ended up creating the silencers. All of like the writing and everything that you see was originally created for a game, but then became a short film.
Nice. Yeah, that's really cool.
So I'll jump in now. So one, like, what did you use a game engine to make this?
So it's Unreal Engine. Throughout my time as a student, I've used both Unity and Unreal Engine. Those are the primary game engines I've used, and Unreal Engine is by far my favorite of the two because it's just a much more of like Unity is more of like a programmer friendly. It's more of like the thing that you want to use if you're like making apps or whatnot. But Unreal Engine is like where I'm able to just like take my like artistic creative visions and just go wild with it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Also, like, what was the biggest, from like a technical standpoint, what was the biggest challenge?
I think for me the biggest challenge was teaching myself how to do animation. Specifically, I ended up in the specific style of animation called machinima, which my teacher told me about. Machinima is a style of animation that's uses like video game characters for the animation. I ended up using that specific style because my teachers thought they suggested it to me, and I'm like, yeah, this sounds good. I was the biggest thing that I struggled with was figuring out how to make the animations work together because I purely used stock animations for this, pre-existing animations for like common actions. I didn't use any animations I created. I just had to figure out inventive ways to make these various animations that that were existed and I had access to. I used something called Mixamo, which is something that comes with a it's some of the Adobe products. The Mixamo is their animator, and in Mixamo they come with a bunch of like animations that you can use that have been pre-created. I was trying to figure out how to use those to create to tell my story, and so like for one specific example was like there's a couple of times when you see the character reach behind their head to take off their implant. That's actually not an animation. That's a still frame that I was able to blend an animation into that, where so the animation transitions out of what it's normally doing into this pose and then back out of it. And that was like one of the breakthroughs I found was figuring out how to take still poses and make them look like their animations. And then another thing that I had trouble with was a bit, well, not trouble with, but like something where I had there was a big learning curve. Was learning how to do like sequences where you can make sure that things, multiple characters on the scene are moving at the same time and interacting with each other properly. Because there isn't any physics occurring in this game. All the stuff that all the movement that's occurring is stuff that I keyframed.
What's next? What's your next project going to be after finishing this one?
I don't know yet. Specifically, this is like my last project here at University of Idaho. I'm like, this is the last thing I have to do for virtual technology here. So the next project would either be something, if I something that I choose to do on my own time, or something that I work on as part of the workforce. So that's so my next like virtual technology, visual animation, or simulation style project. I have no idea. And that prospect excites me. But one of the things that I'm very passionate about is writing, and so this is this game. I actually wrote like a short story novelization of this game, or actually this short film. I wrote a short story of this short film that I have been submitting to my various writing classes to get feedback on. So I've been very happy with that. And my current like ongoing project I'm working on is I'm writing a full length novel that I'm about 200 pages into it right now. And it's just something that I've been doing on my own time. And one of the fun facts is that this novel actually takes place in the same universe that this short film takes place in.
Okay, so I'm Quentin. I'm a music composition major, and my primary instrument's the saxophone, but I also play piano. I've been getting more into like creating electronic music as of recent, and incorporating my voice in that, incorporating sound effects, incorporating drums that I make, like just hitting stuff on my desk. And yeah, I've been having a lot of fun. But I've written jazz music before. I've written some more classical oriented music too. But I think yeah, I think electronic music's like my go-to music genre, like electronic fusion jazz.
And yeah, I'm Josh. This is gonna sound kind of like a broken record, but I'm also a music composition major. We're both jazz minors. I also play the saxophone and the piano. And right now I'm working on some chamber music for sax quartet, just exploring different textures with a group of saxophone players. And then also working on coding some uh, electronic devices that go along with live audio. So you play into a microphone and process visuals that go along with it, and that kind of stuff.
Why'd you guys choose my project?
I mean, I think I can speak for both of us that the idea, because we watched some of your earlier footage that you'd uploaded to the Trello, and our professor came and told us that like the idea behind your story was centered around having it's a cochlear implant.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Yeah, so we thought the idea of playing with like silence as an effect would be really interesting. Yeah, it was an intriguing project to work on.
How did you approach generating the music for this, specifically like the siren song?
The siren was going to be the main, the antagonist of the whole story, and so we were thinking about, what siren, and with looking at the mythology and how the siren, its song would lure, the sailors in, and then it would eat them or kill them or whatever, do siren things. So but the song itself is just really, really beautiful, but has this foreboding sense, because the sailors all end up dying, like drawn in like flies to a light. So that was kind of the background behind writing the main cues that we wrote for the siren song, was something that is just really pretty, lots of leading tones that pull your ear in a certain direction, but at the same time having a lot of I guess off-putting textures, like a lot of pitch bending in the violin parts, and really dissonant chords as well, like scattered around through there. So yeah, that's kind of what we were going for that.
So what we did was we got up this program called Ableton, which it's a program where you can just play pretty much anything. It's called a DAW, which is a digital audio workstation. And what we did was we got like a bunch of string sounds and samples, and we got a keyboard and we had it so that you can like play a note on the keyboard, and then it would create the violin sound or the viola sound. And then we just pretty much like just put stuff down, had like a metronome playing, so like a certain beat, and we just put stuff in there, and we just played with like sounds and dissonance. And yeah, we tried to, I think like for everything but the siren song, I think the biggest thing for us was to try to make something that was engaging, but also out of the way, so that your story could be told, and that we weren't trying to like, I don't know, we weren't becoming too dominant. We wanted like to create a sonic environment where it was spooky yet something that you could just hear but not focus on.
And what was your favorite part of this project?
I think my favorite part was honestly just at the very end, having everything mapped out and have all the sounds made and all the music written and notated, and then just putting it right next to the video, like having two screens open and pressing play on the audio and play on the video, and just seeing how they all lined up and like everything fitting how we wanted to, and just seeing the fusion of the video and the audio to create like a, an even bigger picture. So yeah, just seeing the end product was my favorite part.
I would probably say one of my favorite parts, that's really similar to what my favorite part is, but one of my favorite parts is actually seeing like your progression, because we got like the behind the scenes look. So we saw everything that led up to the final, and the work just kept getting better and better the more that came out. So it was just a really big pleasure to watch that final video and be like, oh wow, like we have the honor to score this, because it turned out really, really good. It looks really good. The animations look great. So good job.
Good job. Yeah, we're good. Thanks again, Jordan.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll see you later.
Bye.